Welcome in, guys, to a kind of side edition, I guess, of the Living Deadwax podcast. This is not a numbered episode. This is kind of a special edition of the show. This is a guiding,
Patreon only episode that we're doing here. Patreon exclusive.
This is a Gaiden story. If you're into anime at all,
I don't know anything.
Those are like side kind of like expanded universe, I guess, like in Star Wars.
So are they canon?
I think it probably just depends on what you're watching, or yeah.
Okay.
But so that's what this is. It's not a mainline episode. This is kind of a special deal. Tonight we are going to be doing our top 50 rock singers. The reason we're doing this is because Billboard did their top 50 greatest rock singers, which we reacted to, which will be up on the channel. You can check that out right now. So get an idea of what they did, then come back to this episode, this video, and check out what we're going to do. I was telling Tyler when we were doing that and going through that list, I'm like, we could do this better. And I'm like, this would be easy to do better.
Also, like, while I don't hate, I hate placements of certain people on the list. There's 50. I think there's at least, I don't know, 20, maybe half almost that we would replace or kind of take off and not think about necessarily.
There was a lot. So today and yesterday when I told you that we're changing topics tonight, I started just doing a list today, like when a person would come to mind. And there was a lot of people that I came up with that aren't listed. So here's how I kind of want to do this. And you can let me know your feedback. So I want to do it kind of draft style to start out.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I have a Google Docs sheet up. So I'll bring that up on screen here in a minute. But you get a pick, I get a pick. You get a pick, I get a pick. We can bounce back and forth. Like if you're stuck, maybe I can give you ideas, or you can give me ideas, whatever.
So we're just drafting our rosters, basically.
Yeah. So if it all works out and you can think of 25 people, then you get 25 picks, I get 25 picks. Okay. Once we get to 50, we will look at that list. And we will look at that list and go, yep, that list is good. Or no, we need this person. We forgot this person. Let's change it up. Okay. And I have more than 50 on my list. So if we forget people or something, I have a batch of people that we can argue and like this person should be on over this person, vice versa. So,
and so we also were, because last week we kind of like didn't necessarily know how they were weighing it, because there's frontmen and there's vocalists, and certain folks have both, whatever. But a lot of the time it's one or the other kind of a thing, unfortunately, right? So it seemed as though they were weighing the entire pack. Well, maybe they were doing a whole package, I guess, sort of. But
I don't think so, because I mean, if you look at that list, there was a lot of good, like talented singers, like above or below, depending on the way you
view it,
are reading the list. Like David Lee Roth was ahead of like a lot of good singers, or Ozzy was ahead of a lot of good. Now I'm not discounting their frontman ability. So the way I'm kind of viewing this is if they're the total package, then obviously. But if their frontman ability is so big, like a David Lee Roth or an Ozzy, then they need to be on the list. I don't think we necessarily need to like rank this. I just want to get 50.
Yeah.
Because I think we'd be spending a long time if we like nitpicked, like, no, he's number one, whatever. So I just want to get 50 and show, because there's going to be obvious ones that are in the top 10. So that's how I'm viewing it. Like,
are you wanting to do subjective, or are you going to want to do like objective?
Like, whatever you're feeling in your draft. We can argue back and forth in the draft. And if there's something that you don't like that I pick, you can air your grievances. And I can do the same thing. But ultimately, we're going to get to 50 and then we'll hash it out. But I just want to keep going back and forth until we get to that point. So
hard rock, and heavy metal, whatever that means.
Hard rock, metal, rock adjacent.
Yeah.
So, not limiting this at all as far as that goes. It's just whatever you're feeling. Could be new, could be old, whatever you want to do. I just want to prove that this could be done so much better and so much easier than what they did. And yeah,
Well,
so
also,
guys, if you no, go ahead.
Not to bring it up like that, but it's reality. Like they also wanted to hit certain, quotas, if you will, or like, they wanted to like diversify the list and put people on there that I wouldn't necessarily put in a 50.
Sure.
So we might have some people that would fit certain criteria. I think we both like enough people that would fit whatever list they're wanting to rock here. But they just picked, I feel like, certain folks that I would not pick personally.
I'm basing this off merit alone, nothing to do with gender or whatever, or race or anything. It's all merit based, and also our opinion as well. But so yeah, guys, if you're into this type of stuff, nerdy list about music, hit the like button, subscribe, comment down below. What did you like about this list? What did you hate? Let us know. Sound off. Alrighty. Tyler, I'm going to give you number 1 draft pick.
Whoa! All right.
So
I was hoping you would. I was hoping you were going to do that, my friend.
So let me pull up here. We got our Google Doc here. So let's title it Top 50 Greatest Rock Singers Definitive List. There we go.
All right.
Number 1.
And just because they're right here and I could do it, I pulled. I'm going with the literal number 1 overall draft pick here, like the number 1, Mr. Robert Plant of Led Zeppelin. The number 1. There's no way. Like I actually, to be honest with you, Ty, at this point, I have forgotten who was number 1.
It was not Freddie. Shit. Hold on. I just looked at this.
Because I know we talked about Prince.
Oh, it was Mick Jagger. Prince wasn't even on the list.
Mick Jagger. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Robert Plant was, I believe, in the top 5.
Yes.
I think he was like number 3. I think Freddie was number 2, and then Mick. So yeah, good pick. I'm not going to argue with that. Obviously, he's going to be in the top 50 list. The Golden God. I'm going to go with a man who wasn't on the list. Ronnie James Dio. Yeah. So Dio is my number 1 overall draft pick.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like I get it, but I don't get it. Like Dio's mainstream enough that you can put him on a list of 50 and nobody would go like, oh, who? Like people know, at least know Black Sabbath, whether they know he did all the records or not. Like they know bands he was in. Like they
Holy
know
Diver.
Well, yeah,
Rainbow in the Dark.
Exactly. Yeah. You know these songs. It's dumb. All right. So we got Dio on there. So glad you're putting one on there that wasn't. So adding. All right. So I'll just go another one that I think we both would pick at some point, but I'll just do it. I'm putting possibly the number 2 best front man of all time, and it's Lee Roth. I'm putting Roth on there. I love Roth that much. What?
Are you saying Robert Plant's the best front man of all time?
I would say that absolutely. If we do end up doing our own personal rankings, I know we're just kind of bullshitting right now, but if we do end up
we did top 10 singers.
We did. I guess that kind of doubles. That does double, I guess. Yeah. So I would personally put Robert Plant number 1 if we're doing that list, and I think I did.
I don't. So yeah, did you have Roth on your list? Top 10 singers? I know you had Plant.
I'm pretty sure I had Roth on. Let's see. Okay. Let's see if this is the era of me saving my Google Docs or my notes. No, yeah. So yeah, I put Plant. Oh, there you go. Oh shit. Okay, I did. Okay. So I forgot this now. So I did not rank mine, but I just have names on here. I do. I don't. Ooh, I don't have Roth.
Oh,
He's
wow.
not on my list.
I didn't think you did. I didn't think you put him on there. So yeah,
but I think I was doing vocal.
Yeah. Yeah, you weighed it differently. Roth did make a Billboard's list. So
12.
I agree. I absolutely agree. I think he is one of the best frontmen of all time. I mean, he sounds much better on record than he does live.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and as we all know, there's not great live footage of his prime. There's basically none. So, I mean, even the stuff that just leaked is all in mono, shot from the stage with like one camera. So you're only getting so much of the experience. So, unfortunately, the only pro live stuff is the stuff from the reunion, which
Tokyo
he was shot. So his voice was shot. So, but yeah, totally agree with that.
So what's funny about that is that somebody asked Eddie about that because they were like, yo, like, because Roth sounds like garbage the entire time. Like, no, like, I'm sure they might have touched some things up possibly here or there, but he was still garbage. And somebody asked Eddie about it, and Eddie was like, that's what Roth wanted to put out. That's what he wanted to sound like. So that's what he was happy with it. So that's what we did. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, he was like, oh yeah, that's what I sound like. Yeah, warts and all. Yeah, so DLR, love it. Okay.
I'm gonna go with a guy who wasn't on the list. Another David Coverdale.
I knew it. It was coming.
Wasn't on the list, man. I think him and Ronnie, those are the biggest oversights. They didn't really represent a lot of 80s metal. I understand Coverdale's been doing this a long time, but he's most famous for 80s, obviously, with 87 and all the videos. So, and Whitesnake got lumped in with glam and hair metal. So that was a knock against him, but definitely deserved to be on there. Great frontman, great singer, still doing it to today. Sounds different, but still better than guys his age. So
100%. Absolutely. Yeah, fully support Coverdale rules. And if I could be a 25th as cool as David Coverdale, my life is pretty sick.
Yeah. Good Instagram follower, by the way.
Very good Instagram follower. And he does it all his own stuff. He's very proud of it. He's old and he learned how to do Instagram, so he loves posting on Instagram. So there you go. And searching out photos that aren't cropped correctly and things. Like an old person. All right. So I'm doing another one on here. I think that he was not on the list. I think last week, I want to say, we're about to see him in a couple days. One, Mr. James Hetfield.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You thought I was going somewhere else with it.
Yeah, I'm almost positive he wasn't on the list. I can double check.
I thought we talked about
it.
He's in the biggest selling metal band of all time.
Yeah, I think really the metal representation was Rob and Ozzy, and then I think they called it quits after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not on the list. Good choice. I agree. Yeah, iconic. I mean, not a great singer, but he's an iconic voice, recognizable. I think he's gotten better over the years too. Like he put in effort as he learned how to do it.
Exactly.
And this is a great frontman too. So, I agree. I'm gonna go with somebody on the list who we'll probably be seeing here in a couple days. I'm gonna go Glenn Hughes, voice of rock. Obviously, you got Deep Purple. Obviously, all his solo stuff, Black Country Communion. You know his stuff he's done with Tony Iommi. Yep. I mean, and for all intents and purposes, you watch live videos, all his stuff, and everybody raves. He still sounds amazing. And for a guy that was heavy into his stuff back in the day, it's still amazing how great he sounds. Probably one of the best voices still going today. Like from that generation for sure.
72, like I think 70, 72. Like it's just crazy. No, 100%. I mean, I'm not as deep into Purple as you are, and obviously the different Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3s and all that stuff, right? But I know Burn, so like there's a lot of great songs in that record. And then obviously he has the Sabbath record and the Tony record, so he has that. So like, you know, he's got a pretty good showcase on mainstream levels there.
I mean, you don't have to give me your opinion if you did, but have you gotten to that album yet?
Yeah. So okay. I'm getting into I was about to start on Tony Martin shit.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're getting there then. So you're more than halfway done. Gotcha.
Yeah. That's what cool. I sent you the because we extended this out another week. I was like, yeah, it's Tony Martin fucking bullshit slog here.
Yeah.
It's not slog.
It's not a slog. All right.
Go ahead.
What you got?
Okay. Another one that was not on the list, and I think is doing it as good as anybody else still to this day. He was given an impossible task from the production side of these records that were massive. One, Mr. Joe Elliott. I think Joe Elliott's one of the best frontmen of the era. He's iconic. Yeah. I think that, I mean, we've talked about it a million times. We talked about Def Leppard, but like, he does not sound as good as the records live because he never did. There's 70 vocal tracks and layers on that record. That's the Mutt Lange thick ass production, which rules. But he does it as good as he could possibly do it, and he's still doing it live, and they're still killing it and doing big business. Yeah. So Joe Elliott, Def Leppard.
Yeah, that's funny because Joe. Yeah, I forgot about Joe. He wasn't even on my list, but definitely deserves to be on there. Yeah, and they still do it live, and he still sounds fine.
Yeah.
Like, so, I mean, the songs they changed the tuning and shit, but like, he still sounds good. So, yeah, props to Joe. I'm going to go with somebody who was on the list, but rightfully deserves to definitely be in the top 10. Was my number one of all time. That's one, Mr. Steve Perry. Journey. I mean, he's the voice.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing needs more to be really said. Just
no, yeah, it's to the point where like if we were to weigh it and like whatever, and like if you wanted to put Perry above everybody else in the genre, like there's really no argument you could really make there. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I think if you're weighing it pointly on
vocal ability,
pointly on vocal talent, then 100%. You know, when you weigh the frontman stuff, maybe he drops down, but. Yeah, I mean, vocal talent alone puts him. He puts him in. He's my number one, but he definitely, for me, he should be in a top 10 of any list.
Number 8 in the list, number 1 in your heart, Mr. Joe Perry.
Exactly.
All right,
Steve Perry.
So, or Steve, not Joe Perry. Joe Perry sucks.
Different guy.
Different guy.
Don't want him to sing.
Don't want him to sing. I did not listen to those Joe Perry projects, and neither did you. I actually don't even know if he sang on those records. I don't even actually know, and he might have got a vocalist. I'm not sure.
I don't know either.
I was going his bandmate. I don't know. My brain jumped really weirdly. His bandmate, Mr. Steven Tyler, also still doing it live here. They've been doing it 55 years or whatever it is at this point, just cranking out the records a lot, mediocre to good. And
they haven't a record in like 10 years.
Yeah, it's fair. We're hits guys. You might go a little bit deeper than me on the hits, but I'm a hits guy.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna rank this as total package, like I'd probably put Plant up there first, and then maybe Steven, and then probably Dio, like number 3. That would be my top 3, like maybe total package.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna get. I think Steven Tyler was on Billboard's list too. So
I think it was. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with a guy who wasn't on the list, Mr. Bruce Dickinson, the Bruce Dickinson, from everybody's favorite band, Iron Maiden. The air raid siren. Again, if you're putting a total package, frontman ability, still doing it live and doing it at a high level, even after cancer. Bruce Dickinson, you got longevity, classic. Vocal ability, and then the frontman ability too. One of the most entertaining dudes ever I've seen on stage ever.
Yeah.
So there you go, Bruce Dickinson.
Yeah, and also just from, I think I've said this to you before, maybe on here or not, but like the fact he's able to do that with all the fire on stage, which takes all the oxygen off the stage, he's still able to run around for 3 hours and sing. Absolutely insane. So he's a freak among freaks for sure. So about it. All right. So on that note, I'm going with somebody who is one of my all-time favorite frontman. Again, somebody else we're going to be seeing here in the next couple months. One, Mr. Axl Rose. So Axl's vocal ability, obviously not in the same way at all as to most of the people on this list. I think he's the first shit voice on this list. So Axl, not that he's a shit voice, but obviously he has a different flavor than everybody else does. He has the rasp. He has everything. He emphasizes everything in those songs so much differently because he has that rasp, and that's why when he later went and he subbed in for Brian Johnson, spoiler, Brian Johnson for when he was AC/DC was perfect. So while there are songs where he does showcase his actual singing vocal, that rasp is just so iconic. His frontman ability and running around doing all the stuff, and even his escapades off the stage, and I guess so on the stage too. Sometimes that adds to the whole aura and everything else.
Sure.
You know, Axl Rose, man, love it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. He was on the Billboard list. He's one of those dudes that where the frontman ability definitely outweighs that, but deserves to be on any serious list. I agree.
Sure.
I'm gonna go with one of his buddies, a guy that wasn't on the list. I'm gonna go with one Mr. Sebastian Bach.
Wow, nice.
Of Saved Row. I don't think a lot of like that 80s metal or hard rock got represented. I think it just gets overlooked. And I think he's actually one of the true great frontman of that era. So as far as vocal, frontman, the look, everything, like I think he was the total package. So
he was on my list when we did the vocalist because that was shortly after we got the Skid Row boxes. But no, 100%. Sebastian in his day, like even now, like we've made fun, but I have gone back and watched more recent videos. And I think we might have been exaggerating a little bit. He's not terrible live. It's different. He's 50 years old at this point, you know? And so him doing things back then, just insane. I watched videos from that Guns tour and from a little before, a little after, like all that era. He was shredding every night. They were playing probably 5 nights a week, and he was going out there just shredding his vocal for 2 hours, and he just did it night after night after night. After so many years, obviously it catches up to you, but just killing it. And his command of the stage, his look, like everything about Sabs in his day, like he made it happen for sure. I support the pick full-heartedly, absolutely.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. All right. Somebody else who I don't believe was on the list, but somebody else who's still doing it to this day at a very, very high level. Sometimes some say among the best. One Mr. Sammy Hagar, 74, 76 years old. One of those two. Sammy Hagar. I know what's funny is like Eddie knocked on him in those interviews in the 90s when they left. He's like, he wasn't the best frontman because he was comparing him to Roth and shit, I guess. He kind of knocked like he doesn't really do the whole stuff, so we got to do a lot more on stage these days, or we had to, whatever. Sammy was playing guitar. Sammy was still running around. He was wearing his tights and everything, had his hair going and his shirts, all the colors and everything else. He was still doing it. Did you compare him to your previous guy, one of the best ever, most flamboyant rock stars of all time, David Lee Roth? Absolutely. He's not going to compare in that way. But when you factor in the stage presence you do get from Hagar at this point, which is still very fun, you factor that in with his vocal, who is leagues and bounds ahead of every. First shit vocal on the list. My second pick was Roth, so never mind. I don't know why I said that, but
very true, yeah.
Yeah, with the Axl. So no, but he's leagues and bounds ahead of Roth because he can do anything. So yeah, Sammy Hagar, one of the best vocalists, one of the best rock singers of all time, top 50 for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think comparing him to Roth is kind of dumb. It's apples and oranges. Like they're different. Sure. They're just different people, different frontmen,
different band.
Yeah, basically. Some would say a better band.
Better band.
Good choice. I'm gonna go with he was on my list too, and some of these they did forget. I'm gonna go. This is my first Homer pick, I guess, but nice. I'm gonna go Peter Steele. From
wow, okay.
A guy that was on the list.
We need new guys. New guys we need. So there you go.
Yeah, we need the old
30 years.
Need the new guard in here. Yeah, I think Peter is the total package. The voice, the look, frontman, everything. Never wanted to do any of it, but did it at a high level and for a long time. And yeah, Peter Steele from Typo Negative. I think he's on any top 50 list if you're including any type of newer rock or metal.
100%. Like, again, as somebody who's not a massive Type O fan, I can recognize what Peter brought to the table in the vocal, the style. Like, I get it. Like, I get 100% why somebody would put him on the 50. It would only take me off guard because I'm not expecting, because I know, like, when we read the list, like, there was shocking, I guess, some people that weren't on there, I guess, but like, they would be on there 15 years ago when we were looking at these lists more often. But like,
Sure.
Like, I guess the new people, whatever. But if he was on a list 15 years ago, the best vocalist or whatever, you know, or frontman, whatever you're saying, singers, I would be a little shocked because I'm just like, oh wow, they put him on there. That means they didn't put on XYZ person from certain band in the 70s, you know, whatever. But him alone has the merit full out, and still one of the coolest dudes that did some of the coolest stuff to get his band off the ground and to pay for certain things for tours. So Peter Steele.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going with somebody you're not going to agree with, or no, I think you would. I think you would agree with it. I don't think you like argument? It, but you would agree. Yeah, no, I don't think you like it, but you don't agree with it. Or I'm sure you agree with it. You don't like it, but you'll agree with it. One, Mr. Jim Morrison. Got Jim Morrison of the Doors. When you think about iconic frontman, you think about the I forget the photo shoot with him with the beads and all the things, him all doing the whole thing, whatever. Just being Jim Morrison in the leather pants, the red leather pants, getting arrested on stage, being badass, possibly showing his genitalia in Florida. I think Ray Manzarek said that never happened, but whatever. Still got arrested for it. Yeah, he was being obscene in the 60s, which is still very square at the time. Just absolutely. So yeah, Jim Morrison, he made my list for sure. He wasn't tops, but he made my list originally, and he's gonna make this list too.
Yeah, he was on the Billboard list too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think any top 50 list he's on there. He wouldn't be on my personal top 50 list, obviously, but I think any top 50 list he should be on.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. Let's go. Fucking, I'm wearing the shirt. Let's go. King Diamond.
Oh wow. Okay. New Guard.
Merciful Fate, and New Guard. Merciful Fate, and obviously King Diamond. I think the vocal ability, King does shit that other people physically can't do. Still does it at a very high level. It's love it or hate it. I understand why people don't like his voice, but to say he's not unique and talented would be a disservice. And obviously the frontman ability is just through the roof. The theatrics, the stage presence, you know. Yeah, I mean, they took what Cooper was doing and put their own twist on it, and took what Kiss was doing and put their own twist on it. But I think King is a much better singer than Alice and both Paul Stanley. So,
yes.
So yeah, King Diamond, I think, should be on any self-respecting list. If you're going to include any type of metal on the list and not exclude it just because you don't like it,
yeah,
I think it should be on there.
Yeah, I would say, like, for me, it doesn't matter. Whatever, throwaway. It was a throwaway comment. He's a better vocalist than Cooper because Cooper's not really a vocalist. Like Cooper has a couple songs he does sing, but Stanley, I think like Paul in his day, I think Paul was pretty great in his before everything kind of went to shit. Yeah. Paul Stanley was pretty killer, and they're just it's King's vocal. Very different. I
was more so comparing. He brought their stage presence, kind of their gimmicks, to Merciful Fate, and obviously more evil, but
hell yeah,
just with the better vocal ability.
Shoot evil, by the way, not actively evil, but like shoot evil for sure. Yeah, super cool. Yeah. All right. I'll do another one for you. I'll steal a pick from you because it's another shoot evil guy. One Mr. Glenn Danzig.
I wanted to pick Glenn. That's fine. Yeah.
No, you take it.
No, go ahead. Yeah, he was going to be on the list. He was going to be on the list anyway.
For sure. Another evil guy. So you got that. Not active though, but whatever. He has Misfits. He has all the solo records. Obviously, again, you're 10 times more deep into Danzig everything than I am. But Danzig's a legend. Danzig's whole personality, his vocal, because he's the gothy metal Roy or Elvis hybrid guy.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, just super. He has the whole thing. So he was not on the list
Yeah.
at all. I did not expect him to be on the list, to be fair. So it's not like I'm shocked that he wasn't on a Billboard list. But Glenn Danzig, top 50.
Yeah, definitely a very unique style, all to himself, and the legacy of the Misfits speaks for itself. And then the solo records, and then Sam Hain, of the countless bands he and those bands have influences, it's a ridiculous number. And then still does it well. Like, I mean, when we saw him, it was a long time, probably like 5 or 6 years ago when I saw him, but maybe a little longer, but still was good. Still had a ton of fun. So like, I think his vocal range fits as you get older. And so I think, yeah, I was going to pick him anyway. So let me go somewhere else then.
You go shoot evil. Go another 3 evil guys.
Oh man. This might be a controversial pick, and this guy might get bumped when we get done and have to actually narrow this down.
Okay.
Shoot evil, Marilyn Manson.
Wow. Okay. All right.
I think vocal ability obviously is different. I'm not accusing him of being Steve Perry or Steven Tyler or anything.
Yeah.
But unique. Nobody sounds like Manson.
Oh.
Nobody. And I know he's gotten worse as he's gotten worse into his, alcohol and things. I think when we saw him, still sounded pretty good.
No, for sure.
That was a long time ago, but
I think he knows. I mean, obviously, none of those songs are really built for vocal, like you just said. There is more built for you having the ability to kind of portray them, I guess, or whatever. Like, yeah, we saw him 7 years ago now with Pumpkins, and yeah, still very fun, very good. He does his presentations really well. He still rips the Bible up and burns the cross or whatever he did on the at the podium. He still did that. Still pulling out the hits. But no, I would definitely I would do that. Yeah, three back-to-back shoot evil guys. I appreciate that. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like Glenn and King are actually evil. I get what you're saying.
No,
like, I mean,
yeah. No, okay. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, not to lump in those evils or whatever we're talking about here with whatever alleged other things. No, it's different. Whatever. Okay, yeah. Okay. All right.
I mean, King. I don't know if he still is. He was a shoot Satanist. I don't know about Glenn, but
that's why I originally said it, because like I remember reading when we were going to Merciful Fate. I remember reading about a lot of shit. Yeah.
I mean, the Glenn Danzig story with his bricks it's one of the greatest stories ever. It's endearing. And then there's that picture of him taking his cat litter out of the grocery store or whatever. It's amazing.
Just being a human being.
And then you watch any stories of like King, like, and you watch any interview, like he's one of the most soft-spoken dudes ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, but anyway, I know what you meant. But yeah, as far as Manson goes, like frontman ability, also the first mentioned tonight, voice of a generation.
Ooh,
I would argue that definitely a voice of the generation. So there you go.
Wow, who did we just talk about that?
I mean, we could have meant I was making that joke because we did that a lot during the Billboard review.
Yes, we did.
Reaction. So I mean, Plant. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a voice of that generation. Obviously Jim Morrison, maybe. So maybe David Lee Roth, but I would say definitely Manson. As far as we don't have any other 90s guys yet. So
well, Peter Steele.
I mean, Marilyn's so much bigger.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. 90s voice of generation. I thought you just meant 90s on the list. I'm sorry. Okay, I got you.
No,
okay. All right. So from that voice of generation to the one that's most popularly called the voice of generation, might as well just do that. Well, Mr. Kurt Cobain, like he changed the game. Like he basically guided the next damn near decade of music in the rock industry that made any money. That's not true. New metal came around, whatever, I guess. But like, the grunge and post grunge, whatever, that was all kind of.
Let me make my argument here.
Okay.
Billboard did not put Bob Dylan on it. Bob Dylan is a voice of a generation.
They really, I thought they did. I really thought that they did.
No.
They didn't do that.
No,
Shit.
Dylan
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Dylan is not a great singer, and he's not a great frontman. He's a great songwriter, and he's a great storyteller. That's what Kurt Cobain is. Kurt Cobain wouldn't be on my top 50.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like, because I don't think he's a good singer, and he wasn't a good frontman because he didn't want to be a frontman.
Yeah.
Neither did Peter, but Peter did it, and it was good because Peter's a giant human being. He was a weightlifter. He like indulged it in other ways. He loved women. Like, he loved certain aspects of it. He was just a private person. Whereas Kurt didn't like any of that shit. Whereas Kurt actively, any Kurt interview, he never wants to be there. You can tell he's uncomfortable. Like, so my argument is great songwriter, is the voice of a generation. But as far as singers, he doesn't hit the frontman criteria and he doesn't hit the ability criteria.
So, okay.
We'll keep him on here. I don't think I'm going to convince you to take him off, but
yeah,
I just have to say my piece.
Yeah, I got you. Okay. All right, fair. I hear it, and I can appreciate it. I get it.
Do you have a rebuttal or
no? Well, it's like so. I think it's so I don't disagree with what you're saying at all, like the frontman stuff, whatever, or the vocal. I'm not disagreeing with that whatsoever. But if we're doing like 3 pillars of whatever the hell, right? We're doing this, and this. Like his bucket of influence, voice of a generation, whatever the hell, like know all the shit. I think that outweighs almost everyone else in this list, nearly, because it's just so like monumental, and there's a lot of guys that have 2 of the 3. Obviously, very few have 3, I guess, if we're kind of doing that kind of math. But his third is just so big.
But my argument is I wouldn't put Dylan on the list. I don't think you're going to pick Dylan tonight either. So that's my point, and that's my apt comparison. Oh, okay,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
That's fair.
Well, I mean, he's on there, and he's probably going to stay on there. But I'm going to go with the actual voice of that generation, in my opinion, and the actual guy who hit all the criteria, and that's Eddie Vedder.
Okay.
So, I mean, who is more imitated, Kurt Cobain or Eddie Vedder?
That's fair.
Who has the longevity?
It's my voice too.
Who has the longevity? Eddie Vedder. Who has, fair. I mean, it's true. It's not a lie.
Not a lie.
Technically true is the best kind of truth.
For sure.
That would be my pick as far as a guy who was a great frontman, great singer, still doing it, a great singer, with a unique voice, and was highly, highly influential as well. So
for sure, I'm with it. I don't disagree with whatsoever. Love Eddie, and I would put him on the list as well.
I don't. Was Eddie on the Billboard?
Especially younger Eddie is crazy. I don't believe so.
I don't think Eddie was.
No,
okay. I know Chris was, but I don't think Eddie was. All right.
Yeah. Okay. So for my next one is somebody that's not on the list, and I think the whole thing was that he's not on the list. He's possibly the most important name in the genre, if whatever you want to call rock and roll, Elvis Presley.
Yeah, he wasn't on the list at all.
Yeah, because I thought that was what we talked about. Elvis. How do you not put Elvis on? I get it, whatever, like rock and roll, rock, hard, whatever we're doing here. I understand that it's been redefined over the years, obviously, so many times, and what Elvis did is not similar to what David Lee Roth or Steven Tyler necessarily do, but sort of, kind of. You still I understand Elvis took a lot from Little Richard, took a lot from Jerry Lee Lewis in certain ways, a lot of like showmanship or whatever. But Elvis had the voice. Elvis had that showmanship. He also had the advantage of being on TV or being placed on TV or whatever, showcased with, you know, the moves and whatever. He changed like the definition of like acceptable behavior in society in the 50s.
Yeah.
Just next level. There's probably nobody on this list, maybe newer guys, I don't know, but like everyone liked Elvis in the especially the 60s, 70s. Like he was everybody's first exposure besides the Beatles, obviously, but
He
like
was,
the
yeah,
first exposure to, like any kind of rock and roll was Elvis, and Elvis was the Beatles. So like, you know, it's crazy.
yeah. I mean, he was the biggest rock star and pop star. Like he was a pop, like he was like a, you know, like a Taylor Swift. Like that's
Totally.
what he was, that
Plus,
big, transcended. Yeah.
I didn't know this, but like I guess I knew it, but whatever. He's still very beloved in the gospel community with those gospel records he made too. So like they still love all that stuff. So he's on
Yeah.
multiple levels here. It's crazy they didn't put him on the
Yeah.
list.
Yeah, I agree. That was a crazy oversight.
Yeah.
I'll kind of bounce off with you. Another homer pick, but obviously needs to be on the list. Roy Orbison. The Voice influenced countless musicians, completely overrated and overlooked. Again, you're going to get muddy because Roy's early rock and country, and it kind of gets all mixed in there. But definitely influenced rock musicians. So whether you want to count it as rock and roll or not, but definitely as far as vocal ability, I would say even frontman too, because one of those guys who never wanted to do it, but was just like weirdly cool. Even though he's just weirdly shy, but it was just like one of those weirdly, you have that weird charisma about you, you know.
No, 100%. Like another unwilling, you know, rock star there, right? Or whatever. And that's why he wore the glasses, and that's why he kind of did his whole thing. It's because he didn't want that interaction with the public, and he was still shy and embarrassed, or whatever you want to say. And yeah, no, for sure. Another great early rock singer that, yeah, definitely influenced a lot of people, from heavy things to you know, still vocal stuff. Like he's everywhere. Roy Orbison, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say like most of the people we've listed before him, he had some type of influence or they knew of him. So,
no, 100%.
Yeah.
That's nutso. All right, so another one that like we haven't picked him yet, just because it's gonna happen, so I'll just get out of the way, you know, whatever. Freddie. So I mean, he's the guy. So like he's not either one of our favorite guys in rock or whatever. You know, we like Queen enough. But it's very hard to make a list of best frontman, which I was honestly very surprised that he wasn't number one on the list. Maybe he would have been a couple years ago. But it's you know, Freddie Mercury. You know, that is what it is.
Yeah, and on that same note, I'll just do the same thing. I'll just go Mick Jagger again. Not our deal. But yeah, obviously, any respectable list is going to have those two dudes on there. So, and Billboard did. So we're going to take Billboard's lead there and put them on.
Yeah,
let's write,
by the way.
Yeah, let's write some more wrongs though. Give me somebody who wasn't on there.
Not on the list, and I think it's bullshit, because I think he doesn't nail the third one that certain other people nail, but he nails 2 out of the 3, and 2 out of the 3 ain't bad. One Mr. Meatloaf.
Oh, okay. Nice.
I love Meatloaf. His vocal ability, his stage presence, his delivery, everything in his time, absolutely legendary. There's very few, like, there's a lot of people I wish I would have seen, but like that I could have seen that I never did for just dumb reasons. Even on the backside of the career, I still really hate that I never saw Meatloaf, because it would have just been so awesome. Again, not great. And I could have seen it a couple times in the later years, and I just decided not to, because I thought it would be, you know, too, not painful, but, you know, kind of just ruin some stuff. But I still regret that I didn't do that. Yeah, so he doesn't write. The songs he did write are not great, but he had Jim Steinman at his side there doing all that, and his, like I said, vocal performance just out of this world.
Yeah, I it's crazy that he wasn't on the list. Yeah. I'm gonna go with a guy who was on the list, but he's got to be on there. Rob Halford, Metal God, one of the greatest voices in metal of all time. Still does it at a pretty high level, and longevity, influence, frontman ability. the look of metal, all the above. Rob Halford. And Billboard did have him. So there you go.
I think he was pretty healthy there too, wasn't he?
I think he was like middle of the pack.
Okay. I mean, better than coming in last year. Yeah, no, 100%. Still, absolutely insane. Whenever I watch videos or listen to Priest, and just the wails that he gets and he got back in the day, and he still gets today, just absolutely insanity that he was able to do. That he has that ability, because no human on this earth should be able to do what he does.
So that's 26. So we're more than halfway. So take stock. Think of who's not on here yet.
Yeah.
Because we got to get once we get to 50, then it's nut cutting time. We're going to debate it out. So
I'm with you.
Got?
All right. Next up, Homer. I'll do a Homer, whatever you want to say. We already talked about him, but he's a different flavor. Mr. Alice Cooper. I think Alice, his stage performance, his influence he did. I think that a lot of the songwriting too, I think he's an underrated songwriter. His vocal is just different. He's not trying to really sing. Like, there's a few songs that he does, but it's not, in the same range as everybody else is. But Cooper's still killing it live. I love Cooper. I wish we would have seen him more, but he just plays the pudding here these days. Or he's opening up for whatever tour. So it's like kind of sucks, but like I wish he would just play like a real show here and not be the pudding, because then it'd be a whole Cooper show by himself. Be kind of cool, but whatever. The one time we saw him was a few years ago, 5 or 6 years ago at this point, and still absolutely
cool.
Insane, awesome, very dope. So yeah, Alice Cooper.
Yeah, I agree. Kind of an oversight on their part for sure. Influence and unique and songwriting and just everything, the total package. All right, let's see here. Let's see if I can bring somebody else here. Who else wasn't on the list? I'm gonna go with the other Deep Purple guy that's on the list. I'm gonna go with Ian Gillan. One of the classic shrieks of all time. Amazing highs, hit notes that nobody else could hit. Still going today. Ian Gillan wasn't on their list, which is insane. I know Deep Purple doesn't get the respect that a lot of bands do here. For whatever reason, they're way bigger, obviously, in England. But Ian Gillan, any top 50 rock singer list for sure.
No, 100%. No, yeah. I mean, also at this point, everything Purple is 50, right? So it's like everybody's been in the game so long, to see that he's still going is absolutely insane. Like, especially everybody did bad things. Everyone did bad things, and the fact that we're still doing this at all is just absolutely insane.
Well, especially Ian. I mean, because you listen to Born Again, obviously, if you're into the Tony Martin shit. So, like, the first track on there is Trashed. That's about him driving a car around. I think it was Geezer's car and wrecking it. Like, and then he wrote the song. Like, it caught on fire and shit. Like, that dude was insane.
Was it? And it was that tour, wasn't it? Where the Ian Gillan tour, where he was too messed up or was it Glenn Hughes?
That's Glenn. Glenn.
Okay.
Glenn only lasted a few shows, and they brought in Ray Gillan to finish the tour. Not related, but Ian did the tour, but he blew out his voice. Yes. So like his voice was gone because he was trying to sing Ozzy songs and just like blowing it out, and then they gave him a shit ton of money and reunited with Deep Purple. But it's just a crazy fucking dude. Like,
absolutely insane. All right, so on that note, we have not put him on here yet, but we must. Mr. Ozzy Osbourne, man, you got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
The Ozman cometh, Wizard of Oz, all the names. I mean, Ozzy's an icon. He's the guy.
Yeah.
There's nothing really else. He has to be on here for any kind of self-respecting rock singer list. It's Ozzy, and also regret never seeing Ozzy. So, F&A.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely way more on like legacy, influence, and frontman over vocal ability, but he's like an Axl. Like you put him on there because of all the periphery shit and the aura around them.
Totally.
I'm gonna go. Ozzy was on that list, that Billboard list as well. I'm gonna go with a guy who also was on the list, but deserves to be another voice of a generation, Mr. Chris Cornell. I mean, a lot of people make the comparison. He was the Steve Perry of his day. Like he could sing anything, sing it well, did shit that nobody else was doing around that time, and especially in those scenes. And frontman, vocal ability, songwriter ability off the charts. Chris Cornell.
100%. Yeah, I mean, make the pretty safe argument there that he probably had the best vocal of the bunch, you know?
Oh yeah, by far.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I love Lane's vocals too, but they're just very different because I think Chris is just a very talented singer. Like I just think he's just next level with it.
And Lane and Jerry are so intertwined. Like I think that kind of hurts Lane. I mean, Lane's gonna come up. He's in my bullpen here, but so yeah, I agree with you.
All right. Yeah, I love it. All right. So another guy that has not made the list yet, and I think he was on the list, and we mentioned him or whatever at some point. One new school, Mr. Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day.
He was not on that list.
Not on the list. Okay. All right.
Because I brought him up. So
you did bring him. Okay, that's where the conversation came from. Okay, yeah. I mean, his vocal is not where it is, but his songwriting, the influence, whatever, everything that came out post Dookie, the influence there, because it showed that those bands were viable and the labels actually wanted to, start buying up the bands and, whatever. And they caused their own wave for the next 7-8 years. And it's still being felt today with pop punk and whatever else, the pop punky hip hop thing or whatever is happening. That doesn't happen without Green Day. And I understand Green Day has a million other guys and influenced bands and they stole from. I get that too. But just for Green Day's purpose, they were the first to really make it happen like that and sell 10 million copies of anything from the pop punk scene.
I think the only guys in danger right now getting bumped at the end are Billy Joe and Manson, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's fair.
Let's go with. Let's just do Lane. I'll get him out of the way.
Okay.
Again, I think he's so intertwined with Jerry that it kind of is a knock against Lane, but as far as unique vocal ability, I mean, a lot of people have tried to sound like Alice in Chains and Lane, and they've failed. So I'll just put it that way. So
yeah,
songwriting ability too. Like if you're into druggy, dark, depressing shit, like that's your guy. So
those
amazing singer, amazing songwriter for sure.
Yeah, those records. As we look back in the archives, our Alice in Chains rankings. Go back and listen to those and our feelings and thoughts and reactions. 100%. I probably watched more Alice in Chains Lane videos or whatever from that era than probably almost any of the bands from that kind of generation. Like almost even more than Nirvana. Like because it's just I appreciate it so much more because it is so new to me. Because like even though it's been around in the universe for so long, whatever, it's the last few years that I've actually really kind of looking into the live shot videos and the unplugged. Even like a lot of that stuff is still kind of freshy in my brain more than anything else is. But Alice Chains Lane videos always good stuff.
100%.
All right, somebody else that I think was top 15 on their list, but he got to do it. One, Mr. David Gilmour. I think David
Gilmour was not on there.
Oh wow. Okay. All right.
That's they brought that. Is Gilmour with an E or no?
It's like that.
Okay. No, he was not on there because that was brought up during one of the Trunk episodes.
Okay. Yeah. Absolute dog shit. Like I don't know what we're talking about. David Gilmour. Also, another guy that has aged very, very well because his vocal allows it to age. It allows him to get older, And I think the strength possibly has a few ticks off these days, but he's almost 80 years old, whatever. But it's still, the quality of it's still there. And all those Floyd songs, like obviously, Waters does, some of those vocals too, but it's the ones you're talking about, and listening to most are going to be Gilmour vocals probably.
Oh yeah. They actually didn't put any prog on there at all. Like any prog or prog adjacent people at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely a severe oversight by our friends at Billboard. We're getting down there, man. We're almost at 35. So like, okay. I'm already stressing out about who I'm leaving off. So we'll see. It's going to be a debate at the end. I'm going to go. Fuck, I just got to do this. I think she was on the list. I hope to God. I'm going to go Ann Wilson from Heart. I like Nancy's voice too, but Ann's obviously the better singer. Nancy sings a lot of good songs, but Ann's obviously the iconic voice. I mean, she's the female Robert Plant. Yeah, still amazing, by the way, too. Like she's a lot like Glenn Hughes, like just stays great. So,
no, 100%.
So yeah, Ann Wilson, and they've also made up. By the way, I guess they're doing shit together. So,
is that confirmed? Or are they just doing business?
It's confirmed. I think they're back together. Like I think there's a tour on the table and shit. So we'll see.
Ooh, all right.
I definitely have to go.
Part, right?
No, I never have.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
What?
So
okay, I've asked this 12 times. What is the show I keep thinking you saw? And I filled in at least 10 different bands with the show you went to when you were like 12 or 11 with your parents or with Josh, or it was Def Lep.
Well, the first show I ever saw was Rush. And then after that, the second show we saw was ZZ Top, Ted Nugent, and Kenny Wayne Shepherd. I think that might be the show. And then I think maybe the third or like fourth show I ever saw was Def Leppard and Journey.
I flipped those bands subsequently around, and I keep forgetting who, because I think I think Heart, like just like I did. I thought Heart was on one of those dates or whatever. Okay.
Def Leppard and Journey, it was later. It was maybe like it was later because Def Leppard and Journey I saw is sophomore year.
Okay. All right. So fair enough.
That was a Shelby Carter argument. He's a big Def Leppard fan. And hey, you went to, because I think I was wearing the Journey shirt. Hey, you went to Def Leppard Journey, as Shelby Carter would say. And I said, yep, I was there. And he was wearing the like one of the Def Leppard shirts from that.
Yeah.
I think it was the Yeah tour. I think he was wearing the Yeah shirt.
Awesome.
The cover album. And he was like, yeah, Def Leppard blew him off the stage. And I was like, nope, whatever. So that was the extent, I think. But
yeah, all right, fair. I think you got out early, or got out just in time, because I think Shelby only had so many laps, right? He was not going to give you too much.
Yeah. Not that Def Leppard was bad, but I'm like, neither of them blew anybody off the stage. It was equally good on both parts.
Yeah. No, for sure. Awesome. Oh, I forgot Shelby existed. Shout out our friend Shelby. His ex-girlfriend still pops up on my Facebook to this day whenever I check it. For some reason, nice. she's still Facebooking, obviously, of course.
Good.
So she pops up pretty readily, and it's funny as all get out. All right. Somebody else who I would have ranked a lot higher. He fronts what I call the greatest American rock band of all time, Bruce Springsteen.
Mm-hmm. Bruce wasn't even on the list.
I thought he was. I thought he was on a little higher. No, okay, I lied to you about it.
Okay. It seems like they left a lot of like solo people off. Like Prince wasn't on there. Springsteen wasn't on there. Like
hold on,
guys who like Seeger. Like not maybe I wouldn't put Seeger on there, but you know my point. Like those types of guys that are like they're the band.
So hold on, we've already broken that on ours several times at this point. Thinking about that, would you thinking about it? Would you have amended this, or you would have done it like this? Okay, all right.
No, because their list is best rock singers. So
vocalists in the rock genre or frontman or whatever. Yes.
Their list is the literal headline is the 50 greatest rock lead singers of all time. So that I would yeah, Bruce, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
The title on the little the tab for the Google Chrome tab is different. It's Best Rock Singers in Bands, Lead Vocal Legends. But the literal headline is the 50 greatest rock lead singers. So I don't,
Yeah.
And then it does say the most legendary band leaders, but he's leading the E Street Band. Yeah,
that's hilarious.
They're quantifying it weirdly by trying to this is why we made our choices, but it is what it is. Let me go back here. So yeah, that's totally fine. I was expecting it.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna go with a guy who should be on any list as far as vocal ability, even frontman ability. I still love watching live videos of this guy's heyday, and that's Jeff Tate of Queensryche. I think he was my number 2 on my top 10 singers of all time. I mean, vocal ability through the roof. He once was a really good frontman. You watch some of the Mindcrime shows, the way he did shit was always entertaining, and he did shit differently. He was kind of like a Dio kind of his time. I would put him on the same level, honestly. So yeah, Jeff Tate.
No, I get it. I would especially nowadays, obviously it's a whole different conversation. But as far as I know, because I've asked this before and we've watched videos or whatever, he still sounds pretty good. He still sounds fine. It's just everything around him is a little bit different, obviously. But
the shows are way different, and he does a broad, it's almost Broadway-esque shit sometimes. And that's why Queensryche broke up, because he kept doing all this weird shit, and he still just kind of kept doing it, and kind of like lounge singer shit. And then his band kind of sucks. So yeah.
Forgot about that.
There you go. Yeah.
I love it. All right. Another on there who I believe was on the list, but I had to put it on there because I'm going to make sure this happens. One Mr. Roger Daltrey of The Who. Daltrey, killer vocal, his look, his presentation, his stage presence, all that. He was definitely a great frontman of the 70s. Even today, they're all in their 70s, 80s, or whatever. He's still doing it. Yeah. And again, another band that I regret I've not seen as of yet, and I guess probably won't see ever. I don't know, depending on what their schedule's looking like. But prototypical frontman, well, Mr. Roger Daltrey.
He was on the list. He came in at number 12. So. You have to have some of those heavy hitters on there to make it a legit list. So you can't completely homer it out. Let's go with. Oh man, we're getting down there now. Got him. Got a lot of these guys on my top list. Let's save him. I'm gonna go. This is kind of a homer pick, but she definitely deserved to be in there. I'm gonna go Taria from Nightwish.
Oh wow!
As far as it's pretty much a fucking sausage fest outside of Van. As far as vocal ability, talent, off the chart, great front woman as well. Different vibes because she's way more operatic. It's a different presence to her. Especially earlier in her career. And she's made so much money for people from reaction videos. It's ridiculous. So I'd put her, and then there might be another Nightwish front woman later down the list too. So there you go. Nice. Taria from Nightwish.
I love it. We need more women. I'll do a front woman. She is the one you think about. One Mrs. Stevie Nicks, Ms. Stevie Nicks. Damn near all whatever. The Mac has a million songs, but the majority of the resurgence are all Stevie. Stevie's the entire aura and everything around that at this point for the younger generation, especially all the songs you're thinking about right now are all Stevie songs for the most part. And then obviously her solo stuff, she still did a lot of solo stuff Okay. Yeah, you're talking from the Mac fan over here, okay?
But
Peter Green
I think no, I think when you get older, like I think you become more of a Christine person. Like I
Is
think
that?
once
Oh,
you
you think
like,
so?
I think so. Like I think when you're young, because I was way more of a Stevie. Like you would if you would ask me 10, 15 years, yeah, oh yeah, Stevie Nicks, way over
Yeah,
Christine.
yeah.
Now I recognize Christine's vocal ability. She's a way better singer than Stevie ever was.
Yeah.
Like, way better.
She didn't do the witchy stuff though. She needed to do more witchy. She did more witchy.
Yeah,
Then we can talk about it.
exactly. She needs to be more hip with the kids. So
yeah.
I mean, you could almost put Lindsay on this list too. I think Lindsay has a great voice. Very recognizable.
Lindsay's a great voice.
So
yes.
Stevie was on their list. She was very high, I think. I think she was in the top 5. I'm gonna go with somebody who definitely wasn't on their list. Is kind of a homer pick, but I think deserves to be on the list. Has made a career again out of giving people reaction videos, and is one of the greatest frontmen still going, and one of the most underrated dudes in music, and that's Mr. Devin Townsend. I've seen that guy do vocal things that I haven't seen anybody else do, and I've seen some of the legends of the game. I've seen Rob Halford multiple times. I've seen Bruce Dickinson, the Bruce Dickinson. So yeah, it's I rank Devin very highly in that regard. Total package, 100%.
No,
been doing a very long time too.
No, absolutely. I can't disagree with it. Like, obviously, you're there. I've seen him once, and when I saw him, it was absolutely insane. His ability, I know his musicianship, his work ethic, just in general, like how much care and passion he puts into things, even the little minuscule things that for geeks like us like appreciate. I'm endlessly appreciative of all that stuff. So yeah, no, I'm there with it. Okay, I'm down. All right. So another new school I'll put on here is one Mr. Jonathan Davis.
Ooh,
getting JD on here.
I'm gonna put John Davis.
Yeah, John.
I don't remember how he spells Jonathan, so yeah, I'm gonna go John Davis.
Onath, yeah, Jonathan, I think it is.
Yeah.
But
no, he was on my list too. He was on my long list, so yeah.
Hell yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So JD, I mean, obviously he John Davis sounds like a golfer. I think that is a golfer, or a comedian of some kind. I mean, there's nobody can really do what he does. Like, you might actually know, maybe you know of people that try to do a Jonathan Davis Korn thing. Maybe, I don't know. Like, he's owned an entire genre.
His nephew or cousin or whatever from Edema, like he tries to sound exactly like him. That band sucks, obviously, but
forgot about that's his brother. I think, yeah.
I mean, he's stepbrother or some shit.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, I mean, obviously you can put Fred on here. You could do that if you really wanted to. But for mine, and Fred is an entire different thing all on his own. But like, what's funny actually is I'm in my brain right now. My brain is diversifying and getting weird. Like, I was gonna say that when you think about nu metal, like for vocalists, you think about Fred, but like that, or you think about you think about Fred, but also like JD they have two completely separate lanes of nu metal and of nu metal like allegiances. Like, I don't necessarily think that Biscuit fans and Korn fans are the same fans all the time. They might share some, but I feel as though, like, if you're a Korn fan, you're not 100% going to be a Biscuit fan.
No,
because that's a completely different flavor of what's out there. Because,
I
mean, we've talked this before. Korn's better.
They were better band, like, objectively.
Yeah.
And they've been doing it longer. They were doing it before. They still have weird blips of relevancy, even if you don't like it. Like when they did the Skrillex record and shit.
Still do business.
So, yeah.
They both do.
I would 100%, like, if you wanted to put 90s guys on there, yeah. Like, they put Zach De La Rocha. I put Jonathan Davis like 15 times over before I even thought of Zach. 100%. So even Kiedis, I'd put Jonathan Davis over Kiedis. I love Kiedis.
I forgot Kiedis existed right at this moment.
I don't think I'd even put Kiedis on my top 50. I don't think I'd knock anybody off yet so far. We'll see. But
all right, fair. There you go, John Davis.
I'm gonna go with somebody who wasn't on the list. I'm gonna go founding member of one of the biggest prog bands of all time. One of the greatest voices in prog. I'm gonna go John Anderson from Yes.
Ooh, all right.
Just the classic voice, man. Still sounds so great too. So great. Yeah, and obviously all the big iconic songs, and then everything that comes with it. Just longevity, influence, vocal ability, character in his voice. Yeah, 100% John Anderson deserves to be on any self-respecting list.
I mean, again, you're 10 times deeper than I am, but I get it. I'm with it. Yeah, forever. Going on 60 years this band. It's insane.
Well, he's not in Yes anymore, but yeah.
Oh, he's not? Okay. All right.
No, it's like Rick 08 when he left. But then he started doing with Rick, he started doing, and Trevor Rabin, he started doing like their version of Yes for a while. So
sick.
He still does shit. So
okay. Love it.
He was at the Hall of Fame induction and shit. Like you can watch that performance. He sounds amazing. That's 2017, I think.
Oh, okay.
Or 2016. So yeah.
Just not very long ago. Okay, fair enough.
All
right.
Either way.
Yeah. Got you. All right, another guy from the era into today. Like this, like they've still been relevant. They've done the biggest business of all time almost, besides like Metallica. One Mr. From Down Under, or actually that's not true. They're from Down Under. He's from England. They're not the same person.
Oh,
Mr. Brian Johnson. Oh,
okay, I didn't know which way we were going here.
Well, it's fair, but I mean, I always think Brian over Bond because obviously that's my entire experience is all the big Brian stuff. But I know that obviously the Bond records and the Bond songs are still also huge, but it's all lumped in now.
Yeah, I mean, I think they both have a respectable shot. I think kind of they cancel each other out though. Like if you're going to put one or the other on the list, but I could hear the argument for Bond. Two dudes though that like, I guess it's kind of a knock against them, but I don't know. Like you can never picture them in any other band.
No,
like they just fit what they're doing. They're both badass, like cool dudes, with unique vocal abilities and stylings and unique presence. Like they're not even necessarily great frontmen. Like Bond's very much like an Axl. Like he's just like a cool dude. Like you watch old footage of him. Where Brian is just like, he just looks like a fucking mechanic or something. Like he just looks like a guy. Like, but he's just a badass. Weirdo. And I mean, Back in Black, like the fucking shit he hits on that record is ridiculous. So like, you know, no, I mean, I was gonna pick him probably too.
Yeah,
but good choice. Shit, man, we're getting down there. Who am I leaving off? It's gonna be a fight. I'm gonna go. This might be a kind of an underrated choice, but just based on the powerful vocal of the first album, I'm gonna go Brad Delp.
Wow,
Boston.
Yeah,
just that vocal, it's iconic, dude. It's so good too. I mean, that whole record's so good.
Yeah,
but like his voice, man, was amazing. So
100%. Yeah, you can't argue with that. I mean, I truthfully have not actually seen much Boston videos. Are those out there? Or I feel like that's not really a thing. Am I lying to you?
I think Boston's kind of a weird thing. I don't know much about the history. I'd have to dive in. I don't think they toured a ton.
Okay.
I mean, just the fact that they, it took 10 years or whatever, 8 years between
for follow-ups and stuff.
Yeah, for Don't Look Back, like, and then it took like 10 years for like Third Stage or something like that, and then even farther for the next one. I don't think they toured a ton, but I know there is live stuff out there because isn't More Than a Feeling like that's a live video. It's all live footage.
Yeah,
If you watch that video.
Yeah.
So there might be.
Okay.
I'm not a huge Boston fan. I just love that record.
No, yeah.
And I love his voice.
Very iconic.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Gotta do it. All right, somebody else, Homer, but I not really. Like I gotta do it. One Mr. David Bowie. Bowie has everything. Bowie's voice is not necessarily great, but Bowie had a good voice. But I think just the way he wrote his songs, I think obviously his influence, his look, the chance he took, the creativity, the different eras that he took on, the personalities, the characters. Like he did rock and roll, like right. He did everything right. Like he hit all the things that like you were supposed to hit. Like you might think about these days, he hit them all. Like he had music change, eras, characters, looks, like new records. Like he influenced every era has its own fandom. So it's like I love Bowie, but there's still records of Bowie's that I've never listened to, and like they're still coming out too. So it's like there's just so much out there. And so many different sounds that people are fans of. It's hard to think about rock and roll or rock vocalists, rock singers, whatever the hell, without one Mr. David Bowie.
Yeah, wasn't on the list too, but I guess they quantified it because
solo
of a band, I guess. So I don't. Sort of, they quantified it, even though the headline of it doesn't say that. So, yeah, definitely, I agree, 100%. Should have been on any self-respecting list.
Totally.
All right, we're getting down to the nitty gritty here. Shit. I'm gonna go. You might be pissed at this.
Pissed.
I don't know. There could be an argument. I'm gonna go Don Henley.
Oh wow. Okay.
Wasn't on the list either. Was not on the Billboard list.
Him or Glenn.
No, yeah. None of the Eagles were.
Yeah.
So yeah, Don Henley, iconic voice, one of the biggest, front man of one of the biggest bands ever of all time. The Eagles. So yeah, Don Henley, and then you have all the solo stuff. I love Don's voice. So
yeah.
No,
100%. Like I think about Don before I think about Glenn. When I think about the Eagles. Yeah. Like I think the Don songs, just because like in my mind they're just so prevalent, because I feel like most songs that you think about are Don, even though I know they've split up songwriting or whatever, right? But like,
the proof is in the pudding too. His solo career is much bigger. I don't know the numbers, but it just off the top of my head, like I can think of so many Don Henley songs and one Glenn Frey song.
So. Yeah. What's the Glenn Frey song? It's
In the City.
Oh no! Well, he has another one. What's the movie song? It's
shit.
It's damn it! Oh my god! It's for like Beverly Hills Cop, isn't it?
Processing. Or you belong to the city. That's the.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said into the city. Heat is on.
The heat is on. Yeah. Fuck that. First of all, fuck that song. Sucks.
All right.
Song is 1987 or whatever. God damn.
We're almost getting down here, so
we're getting down here. Okay. All right.
We each got two more.
Okay, I got a homer here. I don't give a shit. I will go to the wall for it. It's an era. It's a region of the world that they were always bigger than here than anywhere else or over there, everywhere else but here. One Mr. Liam Gallagher. I love Oasis. Liam's vocal, Liam's stage presence, everything. His songwriting obviously was not as big as prevalent, obviously, as Noel. He only has a few songs, but even his solo stuff now, still killing it, still sounding great. He looks better, he sounds better, he's sounded in years. And his run that he's on right now, his solo run, is my favorite things that he might ever do. I listen to them more than Oasis at this point. So Mr. Liam Gallagher, again, they're a million times bigger everywhere else but here. They will sell out Wembley Stadium whenever the reunion starts. If they want to sell 25 shows out at Wembley Stadium, they could do it. Back to back to back. So FNA. So yeah, Liam Gallagher, Oasis.
Yeah, he was on the Billboard list too. So
yeah, gotta
great
respect
minds.
it.
I'm gonna go. Ah, man, this is rough. I got 2 more picks.
Okay.
I'm gonna go this way, and then I think I'm gonna go another way with my last one. So I'm gonna go with Dennis DeYoung from Styx. I think a guy who gets overlooked because he hasn't been in the band in so long. He doesn't really do much stuff. Like there's some solo stuff that comes out, and he does some live shit sometimes. I mean, dude, listen to the vocal on "Come Sail Away." I mean, lady, like, dear Lord, man. I think too, like Styx and Journey are basically a parallel band. They started doing the same type of shit, change, and then like Styx blew up a little bit before, but they blew up when they changed that and went to that AOR sound, and especially when Tommy Shaw came into the band, similar to Jesus Christ, having an old guy moment. Jonathan Cain, dear Lord.
There you go.
Similar to Jonathan Cain.
I didn't even know where you were going, by the way. I was like, where are we going here?
Well, because John came in and the songwriting changed a lot. Obviously with Steve too, but same thing with Tommy Shaw. When Tommy Shaw came in, that put Styx to the next level. So very parallel, almost it's the same. But I think Dennis gets overshadowed by Steve a lot. Steve's a better vocalist, but I think Dennis is right there, 100%. So I think he should be on the list. There you go, Dennis DeYoung from Styx.
I love it. No disagreement. I mean, all those Styx songs, man. Like, I mean, he did. How long has he been out of the band now? He's been out of the band like 30 years, right? 35 years.
Long time. Yeah, it's like 90 something.
I get him and I get Peter Cetera mixed up because they're the bands they left and they just never came back. Yeah,
he did. I think he was on the Return to Paradise. They did that in '96.
Okay,
that was the live record that they did. That was the reunion.
Okay,
it's the last thing he did with him. Yeah,
been a while,
almost 30 years. Yeah.
All right, somebody that like I don't think was on the list. He might have been on the list. It's kind of like you got to do it. Like I love.
This is your last pick.
Oh, it's my
last
whatever.
pick.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
You can argue. We can argue after. It's your last pick.
I'm doing it. Whatever. It's fine.
Okay.
But if you're gonna have one guy, he's not a front man, but the whole band is the band. They're the biggest band ever of all time. I'm just gonna pick John Lennon. He's not my favorite Beatle. Yeah. He's not my favorite Beatle, but like he's the guy. Whatever. I get it. He's the icon. You know, his whole story, everything else. You know, all the songs, all the records. He has a lot of shitty music. But damn near everything the Beatles, huge fan of. I love the Beatles a lot. I don't listen to the Beatles nearly as much as I should, maybe. I know you don't at all. But it's hard to pick. But when you kind of look at it, while Paul has the longevity, I think that the Lennon records are more talked about than all the Pauls and all the different eras of Paul, I guess. Even though Paul wrote my favorite song of the entire group, Maybe I'm Amazed. That's the song. But yeah, I'll go Lennon. There you go.
Yeah, they did Paul McCartney. So yeah, you put John over George, huh? All right.
But personally, yeah, like George is my favorite Beatle. I do like. I mean, All Things Must Pass. Truthfully, is 90% of what my George Harrison solo stuff is. While I've listened to the other stuff, it's mostly All Things, but that's a triple record, you know. Yeah, I would say so because also like this John Lennon just released bullshit so much that I know everybody that's smarter than me loves it and it's the best thing ever and you need to listen to this and listen to that. It's not there for me, brother. I can't listen to avant-garde farting on snare drums and shit. I can't do it. Okay, I'm not there. So
yeah,
fuck them. Yoko Ono screaming into a microphone.
All right, here we go. Last draft pick. I'm feeling a couple names here.
Do it. I got a guess, but I'm not. But I'll wait for you to go. Do it. Do it.
In terms of influence, I'm gonna go this guy. I'm gonna go I think he's a voice of a generation, of the maybe current generations. I'm gonna go Corey Taylor.
Wow. Didn't even go there. I was gonna go the other Corey Taylor.
What?
I don't know. I was
The
gonna
mushroom
go.
head guy?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. No, I guess
Yeah.
he's not the other Corey Taylor. I'm sorry.
I was debating between him and one other guy, but
Okay.
I'll save him. So that's our 50. So look it over here. You can kind of see it. So I got some names that we left off.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna go through. I'm gonna say the name. If you're gonna go like, yep, all right, we gotta figure out who we're taking off.
Okay.
I'll let you know. This is a homer pick. I was leaning between this guy and Corey Taylor, but Brandon Flowers.
Oh,
You can also argue great frontman, great vocal. I don't know if there's anybody I'd remove from this list to put him on.
Yeah.
Another very homer pick was Michael Kiske from Halloween. Great vocal. Be tough to remove any legendary acts just because,
Yeah.
I put Ben Orr from the Cars and Rick Ocasek too. I don't think I. What's that?
I thought maybe you might have done that. Like I honestly thought you would do like, so if we could talk about it, I thought you would pick one of them over Dennis DeYoung or Brad Delk.
I think vocal ability though, man. Like I love Rick and Ben's vocal. Especially Rick, it's an interesting vocal, and they fit the Cars, man. But I think Brad or Dennis could sing anything.
Yeah,
like it for anybody. So
yeah.
So I don't think I had to remove anybody there. I had Udo from Accept on there, just a fucking really unique vocal.
Yeah,
really unique frontman too, man. Kind of like a Brian Johnson-esque, but he's just like a short dude, stout, like a
German.
Yeah. Another German, Klaus from the Scorpions, another unique voice, been doing it for 50 plus years.
Ever.
Still going. So I don't think there's anybody I'd remove there though. Another guy who I thought about putting on here, but I kind of put on John Anderson from Yes, because he's a much better singer, was Geddy.
I thought Rush. Maybe. Yeah.
I think Geddy's, I love Geddy's vocal. I know a lot of people don't like it. He's very love it or hate it vocal. I think Geddy's like a total package deal. Like I'm not gonna like rank his vocal ability above anything else. So
yeah.
Who else did we miss here? Robin Zander from Cheap Trick. Very unique and talented vocalist, still doing it for a long time. Again, I don't know. I don't think I'd take anybody off. Definitely a homer pick, but dude, the guy fucking wails all the time. Tony Martin. It'd be hard to take anybody just because he's in a weird era of one of the most legendary bands ever. But dude, another guy that can absolutely sing anything. Who else? Floor from Nightwish, but I put Taria on there. Floor is more of a total package, like the better front woman and entertainer, I would say. But so yeah. If I had to swap them, I would take Taria off and put Floor on, but I'll leave her on for now. Dave Mustaine.
I thought about it.
What do you think? Anybody you'd change out?
So, I mean, not necessarily, but because like I did the shitty Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing, and I was just like, I got Hetfield.
You got it.
So,
okay.
Like I was doing that.
But,
no, yeah, I get it. Like I was like, you got Hetfield, I guess. Like kind of like that's kind of the rep there, because like you could have done Joey as well, because Joey's a whole nother can of worms there for a front man with the big four. Especially you could use Tom too. Honestly, you could do.
I had Tom. He was the next name I was going to bring up. Tom. Like, is there anybody you take off for Tom? Because I think Tom's a better vocal than Dave. Like, I think I think maybe not front man, because Dave has the whole persona and the kind of that whole vibe, where Tom's a very like awkward, like quiet, funny, awkward.
He ruins the entire Slayer mystique by laughing at things and stuff. Like, yeah.
But I think as far as like stage presence and back in the day, man, him headbanging and playing bass and screaming, like he was a force. So I don't know if there's anybody I would take off, because like you said, like you kind of have to take off a metal guy, I suppose. Maybe Manson. but then Manson is the you know the influence and kind of legacy factor and pop. Like I said, I think Manson and Billy Joe are still like the tentative.
Also, real quick, Manson's the only like adjective on this.
What do you mean adjective?
Like people get called like stop doing that Marilyn Manson thing. Like you look, look like it's a look, it's a whole like Marilyn Manson for a good I don't know 10 years at least was like the Marilyn your grandmother had heard the name Marilyn Manson and maybe possibly knew that he was you know, a bad rock guy or something, evil or dark or something, you know, like everybody knew that guy because that was the peak of the, you know, not the peak, but he was the first like big bad of the internet era of like cable news, of like all that stuff. He was the first big bad evil guy to come around at that point. So like he got showcased constantly as being the cause of everything that's bad in the world. Which he wasn't. You know, no comment on whatever happened later, but you know, with Manson. I mean, I get it. I think Manson could float. I think he could be a floater, possibly. It's hard. But he's so much comes with him, which it makes it hard to actually remove him. Like, because if you take away like his music, his importance to like culture almost of that era is just super crazy.
I think if we restricted this just to band frontmen, like Billboard claimed they did, I think Tom and Dave could potentially make the list, but it's rough. Another guy on my list that I'm surprised you didn't pick was Trent.
I thought about it.
I mean, you could potentially take off Billy Joe or Manson.
I would. So if it's me, I'm taking off Billy Joe.
If you want to do it, you can take off your pick. It's whatever you want to do.
I mean, I'm trying to be as like objective as possible, with it.
All right.
Because like I understand. Like while Trent is also very influential and has done so much for music and so much for just the business, and with the band and everything else and production and whatever. Anyway, like. Even with that being the case, I still like think that Billy's cultural relevance is still, and the records, the band, the music, whatever, all that stuff too. But I still think that he weighs a little heavier than Trent does.
Okay.
It's rough though. Like, I don't know, man. Like,
yeah, I mean, those are my two tentative, like Manson and Billy Joe. But Manson has so much cultural influence. I don't know. I mean, same thing with Billy Joe. I think Manson has more of that in his favor, where Billy Joe's vocal is not as. It's very unique, but I think it's not as good. And then I don't think his cultural relevance is more than Manson. I understand Green Day's bigger, but I don't think. I don't know. Kind of talking in circles.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, I mean. I don't know who I would take off for Trent, but I think Trent, a very unique singer. I'm not going to accuse him of being Steve Perry or Dio or something, but he's a very unique voice, and his songwriting and influence is obviously next to none. Like you could argue there wouldn't be a Manson without Trent. So like, what, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you put the cart before the horse, or what have you? So
no, it's hard. It's hard to think about it. Like, I don't know, man. It gets weird too, because so all these guys are very, very important, right?
Yeah.
So it's like it's hard to fight against what we just did. So the ones that first came to mind, you know, I think that's usually like it's kind of like Hall of Famers, like we talked before. Like if we got to like really think about it, like if there's especially like for baseball, like you know, you guys, there's a handful of Hall of Famers, and like maybe. There's like super Hall of Famers, basically. Like there's maybe it's like everybody that's a Hall of Famer should be a super Hall of Famer and nobody should have a differing opinion about that person, right? So it's like guys that get on the 7th, the 10th try or whatever. Like you are great, like you whatever, but maybe you're not Hall of Fame worthy, you know? Maybe you're borderline, but like so many, basically everybody on this list is like is just next level with it. Another one that I thought about for half a second was Maynard. as somebody that's not a Tool guy whatsoever,
yeah.
I know Maynard, he's a god, a literal deity to these people. And you know, so I didn't want to put Trent on, but I really thought about Maynard.
Okay.
Because I also think that Maynard's voice is just so absolutely otherworldly and just so crazy that he should be on there.
But then, like you were saying, who do you take off, John Davis, or do you take off? That's so funny to me. Do you take off Manson or Billy Joe? Because like all those guys are from like the same era ish. So you kind of, like you were saying, you kind of got to rob, like Hetfield took the Mustaine spot. Like, God damn it, Hetfield. Dave's still pissed. It's exactly. Like, what do you do? You know, so like, who do you take off? You know, do we need all the grunge guys? Do we need the big four of the grunge guys? I think we do. Like, I think they're all pretty powerful in their own right.
Yeah. Also, no Weiland, by the way.
Ah, shit. He didn't even come to mind on my long list. Wow. Okay, let me get done with this.
Keep going.
Trent, and I did Joe Lynn Turner on my long list too, but I think like Dio takes that, like the Rainbow Connection. A Buck Dharma from Blue Oyster Cult. I thought about him really hard. Problem with that is like that whole band sang. So like there's songs where he's not singing on. He sang on a lot of the biggest songs, but that's so like it kind of nullifies it when your whole band has mega hits and they all sing. Another guy, Jeff Lynne. I thought about Jeff really hard, like good vocal, unique voice, influential, did it forever. And then my last one was Tom Petty. Like, does he get knocked down because of Dylan? You know, like he wasn't even on the Billboard list.
Oh shit! I thought he was. Okay, wow.
No, they probably counted him like a Bruce, like he's a solo guy, I guess.
Yeah.
So, I would entertain Petty too, but if you put Petty on, then like you got to put Dylan on, and Dylan wouldn't even sniff my list as far as this.
I was almost going to do Neil too, because I think while Neil's vocal obviously is kind of the same ish vein, I think it's better because I think it has a different take on it. But I think it's definitely like a Dylan. Like they're not actually vocally talented necessarily. It's just their songwriting and also Neil's musical ability. Like Neil's guitar playing, like he's the one that gave the grunge gross guitar. Like that was a direct Neil disciple thing. So like his Ditch records, that's where all that came from. That's the whole root of it, right? So
sure, like, that's a guitar tone though. That has nothing to do with him vocally.
Yeah, and
or
like
his
him doing him doing a frontman thing. Like I would love to see Neil live. I mean, he's almost 80 years old, but I'd still love to see that. But it's like when he played live, he was Neil Young, so he was up there, he's walking around, he was walking in the back, like he was everywhere because he didn't really give a shit. He was just jamming with his friends. That's kind of how he viewed things or whatever, right? So like he wasn't really a seller of like the experience necessarily, besides whatever he wanted to do. It's rough. I don't know. Oh, also, John Bon Jovi.
Yeah, he wasn't on my long list either. 100%. I mean, who do you? All right, so let's go back to the Weiland real quick because I was thinking about that. I don't know who I would take off. Like, I think the tentative people for me is Manson, but I don't think I'd take Manson off for Scott. I think the grunge guys all stay. Like, I wouldn't take Eddie, I wouldn't take Chris, I wouldn't take Lane off for Scott. I could potentially take off Tarja. She's kind of the weird pick, but her vocal ability, it's like, I know that's a lesser known pick here, even though it was just a giant band in their own right. But she trounces all these other people in actual vocal ability.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. That's rough. That's rough leaving off Weiland, man. Maybe Corey Taylor could go off, but I think Corey Taylor is just more important now. And I think Corey Taylor has a great voice. Like I'm a pretty good size Stone Sour fan still. Don't celebrate the whole catalog, but the records I like, and then obviously with him with Slipknot, like I truly think he is. Like they chose Chester on their list. I would take Chester off and put Corey Taylor. I think he's more important to all of that than Chester ever was. So he is. Slipknot's a bigger band.
That's not true.
Maybe not record sales wise, but I think they are more culturally relevant now, especially obviously. But I think even then, and
I think
more important.
I don't know.
Like, I'm not a Slipknot fan. I think they are the Pantera of their era. They did they kept metal, I guess, if new metal, whatever you want to call it, relevant.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of bands weren't doing that. I mean, Korn, I guess, but I don't know.
I don't know, man. It's hard for me to kind of like. For Chester being on there, like we could have done that easily, and like I think Linkin Park. I mean, it's a totally different debate, but like I think Linkin Park, they're more relevant because your sister had that record. Like my house, literally, my literal home had 2 copies of Hybrid Theory. So like,
yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but are you gonna? Do you want to go to the wall for Chester and take off Corey? I'll do it. I feel like we gotta change.
I'll do it.
I feel like we gotta change something. Like I don't think we nailed this on the first try.
I think if I'm doing this again, I'll take JD off. I'll put Chester on there or JD.
No, I'm not doing that.
You know.
There's no Chester without JD.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it gave a lane, gave an avenue.
Gave a lane. It was the lane. It was the road.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they did take it differently. They did do it differently though. They did bring in different sounds, different elements than what Korn was doing. They actually mixed together Korn and Biscuit.
You're talking about the band. I'm talking about just Jonathan Davis.
Chester is so much the band
and ability. Yeah, you're talking about the sounds, which I agree. Linkin Park is different sound wise than Korn, but talking vocal ability, the rapping, what Jonathan did, and the frontman ability, I think that's I think he's more important than Chester, 100%.
Also, you mentioned, whatever. We're also going to see this guy, Phil Anselmo. You could entertain Phil.
Yeah,
you could have done that.
I saw on the set list that they do a tribute to Dime and Vinny, and it's Cemetery Gates.
Oh, cool.
No, they do a tribute video. Okay,
yeah,
it's Cemetery Gates, right? But it's played over, like he doesn't sing it.
Oh, okay.
So I don't think he could sing it anymore or even wants to try. So
yeah,
because that is the most like the high.
Yeah, the most vocal.
Yeah, that's like hitting the high notes on that song. So I found it funny. I was like, oh, they just play it. They just play like a video tribute to him.
Yeah.
So
wow.
Anyways, I mean, you could make the argument for real. I don't know who we're taking off though. Like, is this it? Yeah. Is this the list?
I think it kind of is, man. Like, I can't think of anybody else like we talked about here that I really want to take off. Like,
okay,
because it's like not only like the Homer picks, but like the reason why I put them on there is because like they come with so much. Like those people either in influence, in sound, in like vocal ability, like whatever. Like it's hard. Yeah. Like it's very hard for me, even as a non-fan. Like this is not my bag, but it's hard for me to argue against King Diamond when I know that King, his vocal and everything else that he brought to the scene is so damn influential. It's very hard for me to go, no, fuck that guy. Like, does Phil Anselmo have more money in his bank account than King Diamond does? Yes. But does that mean much? No. Like it's just, it's just different.
Yeah. I think that's it. I think we're going to lock it in. Let's lock it in. Locked it in. That's it. That is your top 50 greatest rock singers, the definitive list. Robert Plant, Ronnie James Dio, David Lee Roth, David Coverdale, Hetfield, Hughes, Elliott, Perry, Tyler, Bruce Dickinson, Axl Rose, Sebastian Bach, Sammy Hagar, Peter Steele, Jim Morrison, King Diamond, Glenn Danzig, Marilyn Manson, Kurt Cobain, Eddie Vedder, Elvis, Roy Orbison, Freddie Mercury, Mick Jagger, Meatloaf, Corey Taylor, John Lennon, Dennis DeYoung, Liam Gallagher, Don Henley, David Bowie, Brad Delp, Brian Johnson, John Anderson, John Davis, Devin Townsend, Steve Nicks, Tarja, Roger Daltrey, Jeff Tate, Bruce Springsteen, Ann Wilson, David Gilmour, Lane Staley, Billy Joe Armstrong, Chris Cornell, Ozzy Osbourne, Ian Gillan, Alice Cooper, Rob Halford.
Wow.
Billy Joe, also known as Kane Strutterberg.
Kane Strutterberg and the Stains.
There you go. That's our list. You feel good? Let's end it.
I do, man. Like
right.
Us doing the reflection period of the 10, 15 or so of debating of like who's really coming off here. Like, I think, yeah, the clarity has come, and I feel as though like there's not much. Like, I might text you tomorrow possibly and go, yo, maybe I do that.
Forgot about this person.
Exactly, but no, I'm pretty confident that maybe that doesn't happen as heavily as like the person we're leaving off is not super heavy. So
no, I feel like we got like the big heavy hitters. We
Yeah.
got the big heavy hitters that they left off.
Yeah.
I feel like we got different eras represented nicely. Different bands, obviously, different genres of rock. Different levels of stardom and influence, and different factors like showmanship and frontman ability and vocal ability. I think in influence, I think we weighed all that nicely. So
I think Corgan could have been on there maybe, but everybody we put on there from the same era, just they were better than Corgan.
Again, and I think the weakest pick is Billy Joe.
Yeah.
Like, but
the longevity there kind of hard to mess because has 20 years off.
You're right though. I don't know who you take off for Corgan. We locked it in, so
yeah.
I can't change it now. So yeah, I should save this. I'll link it down below if you want to edit it. Go ahead.
There you go.
Check it out. Check it out on the Living Deadwax Google Sheets account. There you go.
All right, I love it.
Anyways, guys, that's it. That's the top 50 greatest rock singers. The definitive list. All their lists need not apply. Send them to the shredder. This is it where you go if you want to know who are the greatest rock vocalists, singers, frontmen, frontwomen of all time. Check it out here. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe, comment down below. Why did you hate this list? Who did we leave off? Are you a Billy Corgan stan? Let us know. NWA for life. We'll see you next time. Peace.